Hi everyone, I'm Brian, a financial consultant from Singapore, and I'm taking you on this journey. I just ordered a Tiffin food delivery service for 20 days. My wife and I are working from home for the foreseeable future, so I'm documenting this 20-day Tiffin food delivery journey, and I'd like to take you along. The reason why I'm doing this is to create some memories for fun, as well as to share some financial tips along the way. So for today, we got the food at 11 a.m. So that's really, really early. And I think that's because yesterday it was probably to make up for the food delivery that came at about 1:45 p.m. Yes. So of course, we have to also remember that for the Tiffin food delivery servicemen, they have quite a tough job, and they have at least, or rather, they have up to 15 food deliveries to do within about 3 hours, and I think that is no mean feat. So we have to also thank them and appreciate the food delivery drivers as well. Okay, so let me review the food quickly. Now, today we have herbal chicken. It looks the same as the sesame oil chicken. Sesame oil chicken comes with potato, so potato is really nothing much to write home about. I mean, it doesn't look like much. Then we have some stir-fried French beans with olive sauce, with dried olive. So give me one moment. Let me see if I can dig out that for you nicely. Here you go. Okay. And last but not least, we have this tofu skin with stir-fried. With lightly flour pork. Okay, so compared to yesterday, the thing that I'm very happy about is that they delivered it a lot earlier, 11 a.m., so that allowed me time to prepare my rice and to know that I can have lunch at 12. Yeah, so I really appreciate the Garden Kitchen for delivering this early today. Thank you so much. Okay, so let me review the food. I'll go for the herbal chicken first. Hmm. There's this oil richness, if you will. Um, the taste is not bad, but there's still something about it that I find that it's a bit, how do I put it? Something's a bit missing, as though this was done maybe a bit too, how do I put it? Too early, maybe, or maybe a bit too oily as well. Yes. So the reason why we got tingkat was basically the budget that I have for my wife and myself. At least around about $10 per person for lunch every day, and the Garden Kitchen, roughly for the 20 days, each meal is about $21. So it's roughly within our budget, and there's also delivery, so it saves us the time. It saves us money. Saves us money in the sense that time is money. Also, have to go downstairs to buy the food, and also usually it's tiffin service is a bit more healthy. Yeah, so today's one, I can see quite a bit of oil along the food platter. Each of the what do you call that, Tupperware. Yeah. So anyway, herbal chicken's okay. It's not too bad. Yeah. Sesame oil chicken. This one. There's enough ginger. The sesame oil chicken and the potato is not bad. The potato could always be done better, but I think that the flavor has gone to the potato, and I find that quite appetizing. Of course, you have to probably microwave the food a little bit before that as well to reheat the food. The tofu skin, not something that I quite fancy, but very popular in Mala. I think it's fair. But of course, this tofu skin, once you microwave it, then it gets a lot drier and I have to chew a lot more. So once the pork with the tofu skin. So normally they will break the pork first and then they will fry it and then they will probably steam it or something and then they will stir fry it again. So you get this taste of a bit of bread inside. Not bread, I mean flour inside on the pork. Yeah. So I mean may not be for everybody, but well, for what the price is and the delivery as well, I think it's still alright. Yeah. So I think, and the last one would be the French bean and then the olive, right? It's nice. You can't go quite wrong with olive sauce, dry olive sauce. Today I would probably give it about 3.5 to 3.75. I think that would be fair. I think if they could do a bit less oil today, that would be good. Of course, if they could do the herbal chicken with maybe a bit more soup-like structure in it, that would be nice. But okay, I did ask for no soup. So, and partly the reason why I asked for no soup was to hope to get a dish that is what do you call that? Because sometimes the soup is just salty water. So sometimes the way I try to make the how do I say the dish more, I mean the servings more economical to get a dish rather than a soup. Yeah. So yeah, I think those are the things. Still a bit too early today for my liking. Yeah. Okay. Today I'd like to share with you 3 tips before you get your first Singapore residential property loan. Okay. So the first one I think is to have a good mortgage broker. So the mortgage broker I have, what he did was he helped me to get a good enough deal to get this property. The second thing that he did was also he helped me to look at whether I was able to afford it. That means the ongoing payments, etc. And the third thing also was that he was able to help me because right around the period of because about 2 years after the property purchase, he messaged me and asked me to look at whether or not I wanted to refinance the property loan, and that helped me to save about a few $100s every month. So I really appreciate that. So I think you should also consider to look for a good mortgage broker. Okay. So the 2 things you consider is what kind of loan you would like, whether you can obtain the loan. So the 2 things is one, whether you can obtain the loan. Okay. The second one is whether you can maintain the loan with your current job. Yeah. Now this will be important because you would need to ensure that you have to first be able to afford to get the loan that you want so you can buy the house. The second one is whether you can maintain the continuous mortgage, the monthly mortgage. Yeah. So you have to look at your stability of your job, etc. Now, the third thing you should consider is your risk appetite, right? So what do I mean by risk appetite? Generally, for your mortgage loan, there are 2 types of mortgage that you can take. One is floating rates, the other one is fixed rates. Now, for example, if you take fixed rates and interest rates rise, interest rates spike, you will not be affected, right? But if you take a floating rate and interest rate spikes, the monthly mortgage that you have to pay will be a lot higher. Conversely, if you take a fixed rate and interest rates fall, you don't have any savings. But if you're on a floating rate, you do have savings. So this is something to consider, especially when you're looking at if you want to take a floating rate or a fixed rate. Yeah. When I say consider your risk appetite, also look at the tenure of the property loan and whether and what the breaks in the clauses are. So if you're not able to fulfill these clauses in, for example, most of the loans are about 2 years, then the penalties can be quite costly. So I hope you like these 3 tips. So the first is get a good mortgage broker. Second one is plan ahead. And the third one is to look at your risk appetite. Yeah. So thanks for following me so far. I hope that you like this video. And also, if you have any comments, do share. And if there's any ideas that you want to know a bit more about, do ask me in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you next week.